So watch me glam this beauty up from start to finish. Hi guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Cynthia Makeover. If you're new here, you're highly welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. So please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So first thing first, I used my cotton pad and my micellar water to cleanse the face. This would help to remove dirt and oil on the face. The next thing I did was to hydrate her skin. I'm going to be using my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to hydrate her skin. After hydrating her skin, the next thing I did was to dry it up. Make sure every product you apply dries up before moving on to the next process. So next, I'm going to be moisturizing her face with my Cetaphil face moisturizer. Make sure you moisturize generously. Whether you have oily or dry skin, it's always good you moisturize the face. So after moisturizing, I dried it up using my fan. After drying it, I went ahead to prime her face. I'm going to be using this TM Essential Primer all over the face, avoiding the areas underneath the eyes. This primer is a mattifying primer, but it's not very strong. So I always apply it everywhere except the areas underneath the eyes. After applying it, I let it dry a little before the next process. So after drying it, the next thing I did was to use this Gentle Dove mattifying primer. This is a very strong mattifying primer. I'm going to be applying it on her T-zone area. So mattifying primer is mainly for people with oily skin or combination skin. If you have a dry skin, avoid applying mattifying primer on your face. So, and if you have a combination skin, you only apply the mattifying primer on the oily areas on your face. So after that, I'm going to be locking in the skin prep with the same Kiss Beauty spray. Then I let it dry before I moved on to the foundation. For foundation, I used this zike foundation in the shade 015. I used my flat brush to apply it all over her face before blending. So before I go ahead to blend, I usually spray the face again for easy blending. This will help the foundation to sit properly into the skin. So next thing, I use my damp beauty sponge to blend the foundation into the skin. So after blending in the foundation, I'm going to be locking it up with the same Kiss Beauty spray. This would help the foundation not to move. After that, I dried it up using my fan. You let it dry before you contour. So I'm going to be using this zike foundation in the shade 030 to contour her face. So moving on to cream blush, I'm going to be using this orange shade from my Blossom Lip palette and apply it above her contour and a little bit on the tip of her nose. Then I went ahead to blend with my beauty sponge. So moving on to highlight, I'm going to be using my Avour concealer in the shade A20 to highlight her face. So next, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to blend the concealer on the highlighted area. So next, I'm going to be contouring her nose with the same shade I used to contour her face. Then I went ahead using my beauty sponge to blend to avoid any harsh lines. So after blending, the next thing is to set the concealer. So I'm going to be using this setting powder from Merak Cosmetics in the shade Cinnamon to set the concealer on the highlighted area. Before setting, I went back using my beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath her eyes to avoid setting. So next is to set. So while setting, be light-handed. Make sure you don't pack too much setting powder. Take it one step at a time and make sure your model's eyes are up or your eyes are up. So you set properly and it won't look dirty or patchy. So to set the rest of the face, I'm going to be using this Milani compact powder in the shade medium to set the rest of her face. So for dry contouring, I'm going to be using my Royal Makeup Powder palette. I'm just going to take this shade here and set the cream contour I applied earlier. So I'm just going to apply this dark shade on the areas I applied the cream contour. So next I'm going to be using the same shade on her nose. So someone asked if you can actually do the powdery contour instead of the cream contour. Yes, it's possible. It's not a must you must do the cream contour. Just that cream contour helps to enhance the face more. But if you know how to do the dry contouring properly, you don't need the cream contour. Just know what works for you. So after that, I use this small brush to dust off the excess powder on her face. So next I went back with my powder brush to blend everything together. So after that, I went back to spray the face. This would help to reduce the brightness on the face and helps the makeup to sit properly into the skin. After spraying, the next thing I did was to dry it. Make sure you dry it before you bake. So I'm going to be using my fan to dry it. After drying it, I did reverse contouring. Then I snatched her nose and we are good. So I used the same setting powder I used to set her face to bake her face. So moving on to the brows, I'm going to be using my spoolie brush to brush her brows first. Then I went ahead using my brow palm to lay the brows nicely. So you can also use your hair wax, that's edge control for your brows in case you don't have brow palm. They serve the same purpose. After that, I went back with that same brush I used to contour the face to touch the face again. Next thing I did, I used my carrot gel liner and my angled brush to outline the brows, following the shape of her brows. So after outlining the brows, I went back with the same spoolie brush to brush the brows again before highlighting. So to highlight the brows, I'm going to be using my angled brush and the concealer I used to highlight the face to highlight the brows. So after highlighting, I used my blending brush to blend the concealer immediately so that it won't get dry and look tacky. So after blending, I did the other brows following the same method. So to highlight the top of her brows, I used the same shade of foundation I used on her face to highlight the top of her brows. I think it's best to do it this way. If you use the same concealer used underneath her brows to highlight the top of her brows, if you don't blend it properly, it will look dirty. So it's best to use the same shade of foundation you used on the face to highlight the top of the brows. It will look very neat. And while highlighting the top of the brows, avoid packing too much product so that it will not look dirty, because if you don't blend it properly you won't like the outcome. So to set the concealer underneath her brows, I'm going to be mixing these two shades of powder from my Adventure Oil Control Powder palette to set the concealer.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you
So moving on to the eyes, I'm going to be using this viange eyeshadow base on her lid. So I'm just gonna take a little and apply it on her lid.
Look away, but I've known you too long. It hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
So after blending it, I'm going to be using this Kylie eyeshadow palette. I'm just gonna take this orange shade and apply it on her crease. So I'm just using my brush to blend it in. I'm taking more of it because I want the eyelid to pop very well. So after that, I did the other eyes following the same method. So next, I'm going to be using this powder shade from my Adventure Oil Control powder palette to blend out the eyeshadow to avoid any demarcation. So after that, I went back applying more eyeshadow on the lid because I want the lid to pop very well. So next, I'm going to be applying this shade from the same eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to apply it on the outer corner of her lid, then blending it towards the inner corner of her lid. Then I went back with that same eyeshadow brush I used to blend out the eyeshadow to blend again. So after that, I went ahead with this darker shade from the same eyeshadow palette. I'm just gonna use it to darken the lid. So next, I went back applying this orange eyeshadow again because I want the lid to pop very well. So one thing with eyeshadow application, if you want your eyeshadow to look very neat and well blended, it depends on how you apply and how you blend. So take your time to always blend and make sure you apply the product so that it will be pronounced and it will look very neat. So next, I dusted out the excess powder from the eyes. After that, I'm going to be using my Beach Wave eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to take this golden color here and apply it on the inner corner of her lid. So after that, I'm going to be using this um golden yellow. I'm just gonna apply it here, a little of it on the inner corner.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile.
So next, I added a little golden pigment on her lid because my client wanted her eyeshadow to pop. So I'm just taking it with my brush. After doing that, I wasn't seeing it. I had to use my finger to apply it properly. So next, I'm going to be lining her upper and lower lash line with my carrot gel liner using my angled brush. So I went back using my eyeshadow blending brush to blend again because I want everything to look very neat and well blended. After that, I'm going to be using my Tara blush palette. So I'm just going to mix these two shades and apply it on her cheeks. So next I'm going to be using my mascara, my Zaron mascara, to prep her natural lashes and also give it volume. So next I'm going to be wearing her this lashes from Kaima Lashes. So after that I used my powder brush to blend everything together. So moving on to the lip, I'm going to be using this brown shade from my Blossom lip palette to outline her lip. After that I went ahead applying this peach color in the middle just to brighten up the lip. So next I used my brush to blend it together. So after that I added a lighter color in the middle before blending it. So I blended it properly before I added some gloss. So after blending it I added some gloss because she wanted a glossy lip.
But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade
So after
away.
that I pressed her natural and false lashes together.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away. Cause every time I wake up, I feel like it's Monday.
So for her lower lashes I'm going to be prepping it also with this Zaron mascara.
Anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me
So for highlight I'm going to be using this Younger Beauty Candy highlighter. I'm just going to apply it on the places I want the highlights to pop.
to the place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain. I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying
So after that I added a little of the highlighter on her tear dots.
to away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
Then I went ahead using my brush to blend everything together.
As you fade away.
So next I'm going to be setting the face for the last time using my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. So after spraying I let it dry properly into the skin. So I'm just gonna dry it using my fan. So after that I applied some brow balm on her brows using my spoolie brush because I want the brows to be properly laid. Then lastly I'm going to be sealing it up with this So Pro Seal It spray. This would help the makeup to last longer, and yeah, after that I'm going to be drying it up with my fan. After drying it we are good to go, guys. So this is the final look. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, share and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you for always coming back to my channel. Thank you for supporting me. I will see you all in my next video. I love you guys so much. Bye, 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 bye.